Hello, this is Jeff Morgan. You are listening to an authorized audio version of the Galactic Federation. If this kind of material is interesting to you and you'd like to continue, you're welcome to like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also find my other books on Amazon Kindle. Thank you for listening.
Chapter 13: Political Voices and the Quiet Acknowledgment of the Galactic Federation. Introduction: The Crumbling Wall of Denial. For much of modern history, the idea that Earth is entangled in the affairs of organized extraterrestrial alliances has existed largely on the fringes of public discourse. Whispers of off-world councils, advanced civilizations cooperating across the stars, and human involvement in galactic politics were dismissed as the domain of science fiction enthusiasts, conspiracy theorists, or fringe spiritual groups. These concepts, while intriguing to some, were treated by most with skepticism, ridicule, or outright denial, kept at a comfortable distance from mainstream acceptance. Yet, in recent decades, subtle but undeniable cracks have begun to appear in this carefully maintained wall of denial. Across the corridors of political power, within the ranks of military and defense leadership, and among former government officials, references to the existence of non-human groups operating with structured agendas have surfaced with increasing frequency. These statements, often cautiously worded or framed within speculative language, hint at a reality long hidden from public view, a reality in which humanity's place within the galactic order is far more complex and interconnected than most have been led to believe. While only a select few political figures have had the courage, clearance, or audacity to mention the Galactic Federation directly, many more have spoken in ways that mirror its defining characteristics. They describe cooperative groups of extraterrestrial civilizations, structured diplomatic arrangements, and the quiet orchestration of Earth's affairs by forces that exist beyond the confines of terrestrial governments. Whether intentional or accidental, these statements chip away at the cultural programming that has kept humanity blind to its galactic surroundings. The era in which the Galactic Federation could be dismissed as a myth or relegated to the speculative musings of fringe communities is drawing to a close. The slow, careful emergence of political voices willing to engage with these ideas reflects a broader shift, a recognition that the human species is approaching a threshold where denial is no longer sustainable, and the quiet reality of organized extraterrestrial alliances can no longer be hidden from view. Hayam, the first Open Federation confirmation. In 2020, a significant fracture appeared in the long-standing wall of secrecy surrounding Earth's relationship with extraterrestrial civilizations. This disruption came not from a fringe theorist or anonymous whistleblower, but from a highly respected figure within the global defense and scientific community. Hayam, the former head of Israel's space security program, publicly stepped forward with statements that marked a historic moment in the quiet acknowledgement of the Galactic Federation. Who spent nearly 3 decades overseeing Israel's space initiatives and collaborating closely with international defense networks, was not an outsider to global security affairs. His credentials and reputation lent an unprecedented level of credibility to a subject that had, until then, remained confined to the shadows of speculation. In a series of public interviews, made a series of remarkable declarations that directly addressed the existence of an organized, structured extraterrestrial alliance known as the Galactic Federation. According to his testimony, this federation has not only been observing Earth for an extended period, but has also established formal agreements with select Earth governments, including the United States. These agreements, he explained, are part of a broader effort to prepare humanity for eventual integration into the galactic community while preventing premature disclosure that could destabilize human society. Perhaps most astonishing was Esch's revelation that joint human-alien facilities already exist, including installations located on Mars. These bases, he suggested, are the product of covert cooperation between human factions and members of the Federation, operating beyond public knowledge and outside the framework of conventional governance. Eshed emphasized that the Galactic Federation has intentionally refrained from making its presence overtly known to the global population. According to him, the Federation believes that humanity is not yet ready for full public contact, citing concerns over mass panic, societal collapse, and the inability of Earth's institutions to responsibly manage the implications of such a revelation. This cautious approach aligns with long-standing claims from contactees and researchers who have suggested that extraterrestrial groups, particularly those aligned with the Federation, adhere to strict non-interference policies that respect planetary free will and developmental readiness. The impact of Esch's statements was immediate and polarizing. While mainstream media outlets covered his claims with a mix of curiosity and skepticism, the fact that a figure of his stature had directly confirmed the existence of the Galactic Federation represented a watershed moment in the slow unraveling of the secrecy surrounding Earth's off-world relationships. His testimony marked the first time that a high-ranking defense official, with extensive experience in space security and international collaboration, openly spoke about the Federation in a formal, public context. Though met with the usual attempts at dismissal and ridicule by some, Esch's revelations added significant weight to the growing body of evidence suggesting that humanity's entanglement with extraterrestrial alliances is far more advanced and far more hidden than most are willing to believe. Mark Fincham and Leo Biasucci, Federation enters fringe U.S. politics. In early 2025, a curious event emerged on the fringes of American political discourse, signaling that ideas about the Galactic Federation have begun to breach even unlikely venues of influence. The Quantum Summit 2, held in Florida, was presented as a gathering at the intersection of esoteric science, space policy, and speculative geopolitics. Unlike mainstream conferences, this summit embraced open discussion about off-world collaboration, extraterrestrial involvement in Earth's affairs, and the murmurings of a broader galactic alliance. Among its presenters were two Arizona lawmakers, State Senator Mark Fincham and Representative Leo Biasucci, whose inclusion captured the attention of both conspiracy watchers and political observers. Summit promotional materials explicitly referenced cooperation between Space Force and the Galactic Federation, suggesting a level of institutional awareness previously unseen in U.S. politics. Although neither Fincham nor Biasucci issued detailed public statements explaining their positions on these connections after the event, their participation alone raised eyebrows. It hinted at a growing fascination within fringe political currents about structured relationships with non-human intelligence and broader cosmic governance. The event itself, positioned at the outer edges of conservative politics, blurred the lines between national security rhetoric and emerging narratives about extraterrestrial diplomacy. This occurrence is historically significant because it marks one of the first times elected political figures, not merely activists or media personalities, have shared a stage that openly discusses the Galactic Federation alongside recognized defense and space agencies. It suggests that these cosmic ideas, once relegated to esoteric subcultures and UFO forums, are beginning to penetrate the fringes of institutional governance. Even if the Quantum Summit remains peripheral by mainstream standards, the involvement of elected officials underscores a shift. The barrier between speculative extraterrestrial theory and fringe political engagement has grown thinner, allowing the language of galactic diplomacy to seep into narratives about national security and public policy. By openly participating in an event that tied congressional voices to Federation-related discourse, Fincham and Biasucci symbolically allowed one more crack to open in the wall of official denial. If nothing else, their presence indicated that these discussions have started to resonate in political fields previously considered impervious, not as symbolic gestures, but as potential invitations for deeper engagement with the cosmic questions that continue to challenge humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. Paul Hellyer organized extraterrestrial groups without the name. Among the growing chorus of political figures who have spoken about extraterrestrial involvement with Earth, few carried the level of authority and credibility that Paul Hellyer brought to the conversation. As Canada's Minister of National Defence from 1963 to 1967, Hellyer held one of the highest-ranking government positions among all officials to ever openly discuss the presence of advanced, non-human groups operating on and around Earth. His statements, delivered in formal interviews, conferences, and public appearances, have served as a quiet but powerful acknowledgment that Earth is already entangled in complex relationships with multiple extraterrestrial civilizations. Hellyer's testimony, spanning more than a decade of public engagement with the subject, outlined his belief that numerous intelligent species from beyond Earth are not only real, but are actively interacting with humanity. He consistently stated that some of these groups have engaged in collaborative efforts with human factions, exchanging knowledge and technology in ways that, when used responsibly, could accelerate human progress. Hellyer often spoke with cautious optimism about the existence of benevolent extraterrestrials, describing them as groups concerned with humanity's well-being, the preservation of the planet, and the prevention of large-scale conflict that could destabilize Earth and its surrounding environment. While Hellyer never explicitly used the term Galactic Federation in his public remarks, the description of the extraterrestrial alliances he referenced closely aligns with the known purpose and structure of that organization. His references to peaceful contact, technological guidance, and the efforts of off-world civilizations to prevent hostile forces from manipulating Earth mirror the fundamental principles attributed to the Federation. Hellyer spoke of organized, structured groups working in quiet partnership with select human factions, suggesting a level of interspecies cooperation that extends beyond chance encounters or isolated incidents. He framed these relationships as part of a broader galactic dynamic in which Earth is but one participant in a much larger, interconnected system. Though his testimony stopped short of naming the Federation outright, the substance of his descriptions has been embraced by many researchers and contactees as an indirect confirmation of its existence. His words provided a rare window into the hidden layers of planetary governance and the ongoing struggle between forces of control and forces of liberation operating beyond the public eye. As one of the most senior and experienced government officials to address these topics without hesitation, Paul Hellyer's voice remains a significant marker in the slow unraveling of Earth's concealed galactic entanglements. His testimony added credibility to the idea that humanity's future is not confined to terrestrial borders, but is deeply connected to the intentions and influence of organized, extraterrestrial alliances guiding Earth's quiet evolution. Edgar Mitchell, the astronaut's hints at organized off-world presence. Among the voices hinting at humanity's quiet relationship with advanced extraterrestrial groups, few carried the same level of public respect and scientific credibility as Edgar Mitchell. As the sixth human to walk on the moon during the Apollo 14 mission, Mitchell was not only a decorated astronaut, but also a respected engineer and a pioneering advocate for expanded human consciousness. His position within NASA and his direct experience with space exploration gave his words significant weight, particularly when he chose to speak publicly about the existence of extraterrestrial life and the presence of organized, off-world civilizations interacting with Earth. Throughout numerous interviews and public forums, Mitchell consistently stated that he possessed insider knowledge pointing to the reality of extraterrestrials engaging with humanity. He explained that through his post-NASA connections with military and intelligence officials, he learned of confirmed contact with non-human groups that have visited Earth, monitored human development, and, in some cases, interacted with governments behind closed doors. His statements, though carefully measured, reflected an undeniable acknowledgment of organized extraterrestrial activity occurring well beyond public awareness. Mitchell also hinted at the existence of structured alliances among advanced civilizations beyond Earth. He spoke of extraterrestrial groups operating in coordination, suggesting that there were not merely isolated visitors arriving sporadically, but that humanity was being observed and, in some ways, protected by a sophisticated network of non-human beings. His words implied that these groups maintained an overarching structure, with the technological capabilities and ethical framework necessary to prevent human civilization from falling victim to more malevolent forces, whether terrestrial or extraterrestrial in origin. Although Mitchell never explicitly used the term Galactic Federation, his descriptions closely align with the purpose and function often attributed to such an alliance. His references to peaceful oversight, coordinated activity among advanced species, and the quiet guidance of humanity mirror the principles of the Federation as described by numerous contactees, researchers, and whistleblowers. Mitchell's perspective, shaped by firsthand experience in space and decades of research into the nature of consciousness and extraterrestrial life, added an important layer of credibility to the growing narrative that Earth is already entangled in a much larger galactic system. Edgar Mitchell's quiet but unwavering statements, delivered with the authority of a seasoned astronaut and scientific thinker, represent yet another fracture in the wall of official denial. His willingness to suggest the presence of organized, benevolent extraterrestrial oversight has fueled public curiosity and emboldened further inquiry into humanity's hidden galactic relationships. Though never framing his insights with formal titles like the Galactic Federation, Mitchell's words stand as some of the most respected and direct acknowledgments that humanity is not alone and that organized, structured civilizations beyond Earth are quietly shaping the course of planetary evolution. Kursin Ilyumzhinov, personal contact with a coordinated extraterrestrial group. In the ongoing disclosure of humanity's hidden connections to extraterrestrial civilizations, few testimonies have been as personal or politically provocative as that of Kursin Ilyumzhinov. As the former president of the Russian Republic of Kalmykia, Ilyumzhinov was an established figure in both Russian politics and international organizations, notably serving as the longtime head of FIDE, the International Chess Federation. Despite his mainstream political stature, Ilyumzhinov became globally recognized for a very different reason when he publicly claimed to have experienced direct contact with a group of humanoid extraterrestrials. According to Ilyumzhinov, the event occurred in 1997 at his private residence. He described being taken aboard a spacecraft by non-human beings who, although outwardly humanoid, made it clear that they were part of a highly advanced and organized civilization observing Earth. These beings, he explained, communicated with him not through force or intimidation, but through a peaceful, knowledge-sharing interaction intended to inform him of their presence and their ongoing interest in monitoring human development. Ilyumzhinov emphasized that their civilization was not hostile, but was instead engaged in quiet observation, technological advancement, and a broader effort to maintain a watchful presence over Earth's evolution. While Ilyumzhinov never explicitly referred to these beings as members of the Galactic Federation, his descriptions closely align with the patterns of behavior attributed to Federation-affiliated groups. His account speaks to organized, non-aggressive contact initiated for the purposes of observation and knowledge exchange rather than domination or exploitation. The fact that the encounter took place without fear, coercion, or manipulation, and that the beings presented themselves as part of a cooperative, technologically advanced civilization, echoes the principles often associated with Federation interactions as described by contactees and insiders. What makes Ilyumzhinov's case particularly noteworthy is the intersection of his testimony with his political status. As an active head of state at the time of his alleged contact, his experience challenged the boundaries of what was publicly acceptable for political figures to discuss. Despite widespread skepticism and media ridicule, Ilyumzhinov never wavered in his account, maintaining that his experience was genuine and offering it as further evidence that humanity is not isolated, but is part of a much broader web of galactic relationships, quietly unfolding beyond the awareness of most of the planet. His testimony adds yet another layer to the quiet acknowledgement of organized extraterrestrial groups operating near Earth. Although his words stop short of officially confirming the existence of the Galactic Federation, The structure, motives, and peaceful nature of the beings he described align with the known characteristics of Federation-aligned civilizations. In doing so, Ilyumzanov's experience serves as both a personal revelation and a subtle political signal that the presence of organized, coordinated extraterrestrial groups is a reality far more complex and present than most are prepared to accept. Why most political acknowledgments remain veiled. Despite the growing number of political figures, military officials, and insiders who have hinted at the presence of organized extraterrestrial groups, the majority of formal acknowledgments remain carefully veiled. The reasons for this persistent secrecy are as complex as the subject itself and rooted in a combination of geopolitical caution, long-standing covert agreements, and the protocols followed by the Galactic Federation itself. Together, these factors have created an environment in which full disclosure remains elusive, even as fragments of truth continue to surface through unofficial channels. Foremost among these reasons is the deep-rooted fear of destabilization. For decades, those within positions of power have recognized that the sudden, public confirmation of extraterrestrial contact, let alone the existence of a coordinated galactic alliance, could have profound psychological, religious, and social consequences. The structures that underpin modern civilization, from financial markets to national security frameworks, rest on the foundation of human exceptionalism and the illusion of planetary isolation. To dismantle that foundation abruptly could result in widespread confusion, economic turmoil, or even civil unrest. Consequently, political leaders, even those with knowledge of these realities, are often reluctant to bring the full truth into the public domain. Beyond concerns over public reaction, many political figures are also bound by formal secrecy agreements. Over the years, covert programs involving both human and extraterrestrial groups have been protected by strict legal and security protocols, often reinforced by international treaties and classified defense arrangements. Those who possess insider knowledge are frequently restricted by these agreements, unable to speak openly without violating laws that carry severe personal and professional consequences. Even well-intentioned individuals seeking to reveal the truth find themselves constrained by these layers of institutional control. Compounding these barriers is the Galactic Federation's own strict adherence to protocols of non-interference. While the Federation operates with the goal of guiding emerging civilizations like humanity toward conscious integration with the galactic community, they are equally committed to respecting planetary sovereignty and the evolutionary process. They do not force contact, impose their presence, or override the natural trajectory of societal development. Instead, they permit humanity to advance at its own pace, intervening only in circumstances where free will is severely violated or where the planet faces existential threats beyond its capacity to manage. For these reasons, the acknowledgement of the Galactic Federation and organized extraterrestrial alliances follows a pattern of gradual, carefully managed disclosure. Subtle public statements, controlled leaks, and indirect testimony from political and defense insiders are all part of a broader strategy designed to acclimate humanity to a new understanding of its place in the universe. Rather than a sudden, destabilizing revelation, the process unfolds incrementally, preparing the human psyche for the eventual acceptance of galactic realities. The veiled nature of political acknowledgments reflects this delicate balancing act between secrecy, fear, responsibility, and the greater cosmic protocols at play. It ensures that when the final veil is lifted, humanity will be better equipped to navigate the profound implications of its quiet entanglement with organized, off-world civilizations. Implications: the Federation's shadow growing in the open. The slow emergence of direct and indirect political testimonies surrounding organized extraterrestrial groups is quietly eroding the long-standing wall of public denial. What was once relegated to the domain of fringe theory, dismissed as fantasy or conspiracy, is now steadily infiltrating mainstream discourse. The mention of the Galactic Federation by respected officials, the subtle acknowledgments from military insiders, and the carefully chosen words of political figures have all contributed to a growing sense that humanity's cosmic isolation is an illusion rapidly nearing its expiration. This steady erosion of denial is not happening through dramatic announcements or sudden disclosures, but through a calculated accumulation of credible statements and fragmented revelations. High-profile figures such as Chaim Esht have directly named the Galactic Federation, while others, like Paul Hellyer, Edgar Mitchell, and Kirsan Ilyumzanov, have described organized extraterrestrial activity in ways that closely mirror the Federation's known characteristics, even without using the term explicitly. These accounts, woven together over time, create a narrative that is increasingly difficult for the public to ignore or for governments to suppress. As these testimonies accumulate, the concept of the Galactic Federation is making a slow but undeniable transition from fringe mythology to plausible reality. What was once dismissed as speculative fiction is now being discussed within political circles, defense forums, and even mainstream media, albeit with caution and skepticism. The Federation's presence is no longer confined to the whispered accounts of contactees or the obscure literature of ufology. It is gradually becoming part of the broader conversation about humanity's future, our place within the cosmos, and the possibility of participating in a structured, galactic civilization. The implications of this shift are profound. Humanity now stands on the threshold of unavoidable recognition. The steady stream of disclosures, hints, and confirmations has brought civilization to the edge of a paradigm shift, where denial is no longer sustainable and the acknowledgement of a broader galactic community is inevitable. As the Federation's shadow grows more visible in the open, the opportunity for conscious engagement, prepared integration, and the reclamation of humanity's role within the galactic order moves from distant speculation to immediate potential. The only question that remains is how prepared humanity will be when that veil, now so thin, finally falls. Conclusion: the path from hints to full disclosure. The slow and careful revelations emerging from the political sphere may appear fragmented and incomplete, yet together they are forming a mosaic that points to a far greater reality. Though the public has been offered only glimpses, these scattered pieces are beginning to reveal the outline of a structured, benevolent galactic presence operating just beyond the boundaries of mainstream awareness. The existence of an organized alliance of extraterrestrial civilizations, one that observes humanity with cautious interest and guides from a distance, is no longer a theory confined to fringe communities. Instead, it is steadily taking shape through the testimonies of officials, astronauts, defense insiders, and politicians willing to speak, even in cautious terms, about humanity's quiet entanglement with off-world groups. At the heart of this growing understanding lies the recognition that Earth is not isolated. The Galactic Federation, though rarely named directly by those in power, is increasingly described in terms that match its known characteristics: peaceful oversight, technological guidance, and a profound respect for planetary sovereignty. This alliance has waited, watching the human species evolve and wrestle with its own internal challenges, prepared to engage more openly when humanity demonstrates the readiness to do so responsibly. The thinning of the veil that has concealed these truths is not occurring through sudden, earth-shattering revelations. It is unfolding gradually, through the persistent and undeniable accumulation of testimony that comes from respected individuals and political figures willing to hint at what they know. Each carefully chosen word, each subtle confirmation, adds another thread to the growing tapestry of public awareness. Though the full picture remains concealed, its form is emerging, undeniable to those who are paying attention. The path from scattered hints to full disclosure is already being walked, even if the final destination has yet to be reached. The time is approaching when the accumulated fragments will no longer be dismissible, and the quiet alliance that has monitored and influenced Earth's evolution will no longer remain hidden in the shadows. Humanity is moving toward a moment of collective realization, where the existence of the Galactic Federation and the larger galactic system it represents will shift from speculative possibility to accepted reality. The only question that remains is how gracefully humanity will step across that threshold when the final fragments fall into place and the full mosaic of Earth's cosmic entanglement is revealed.
This concludes this section of the Galactic Federation. The next section will be available here on my channel. If you'd like to support this work, please like the video and subscribe for future releases. Also, my other books are available on Amazon Kindle. Thank you for listening.